Are you or someone you love considering a nursing home and wondering if it's the right decision? Lucy, an 82-year-old former librarian, thought moving to a nursing home would provide safety, comfort, and peace of mind for both herself and her family. What Lucy discovered over the next 18 months shocked her and taught her lessons she wishes she'd known before making this life-changing decision. Research now shows that many seniors experience unexpected challenges when transitioning to nursing home care that could be prevented with better preparation and understanding. What you're about to learn could help you make a more informed decision that protects both your well-being and your independence. Leading researchers have spent years studying why some seniors thrive in nursing home environments while others struggle with the transition. And what they found changes everything. These 6 discoveries could transform not just your approach to long-term care decisions, but your entire understanding of what aging in place versus institutional care really means. And the 6th lesson will completely surprise you because it affects every senior considering this choice. Time is precious, especially when you consider that nursing home decisions often feel irreversible once made. But time is also on your side if you have the right information. Don't miss a single minute because this knowledge could make all the difference for your future independence and happiness. This could make all the difference for you or someone you love. Regret number 1: underestimating the loss of personal autonomy. This next revelation will change how you think about independence and daily decision-making. Meet Walter, a 79-year-old retired mechanic who had lived independently in his own home for 60 years, managing his own schedule meals and daily routines exactly as he preferred. Walter's children convinced him that moving to a nursing home would provide security and eliminate the stress of home maintenance, promising he'd have more time to enjoy life without responsibilities. However, within the first month, Walter discovered that nearly every aspect of his daily life was now controlled by facility schedules, policies, and staff availability rather than his own preferences and needs. Here's what Walter discovered: nursing homes operate on institutional schedules that prioritize efficiency over individual autonomy, often leaving residents feeling like they've lost control over their own lives. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that the transition from independent living to institutional care involves surrendering decision-making authority over fundamental daily choices, including meal times, sleep schedules, social activities, and even personal care routines. Studies indicate that this loss of autonomy can lead to decreased mental health, reduced cognitive function, and a phenomenon called learned helplessness, where residents gradually stop advocating for their own preferences. Scientists found that seniors who maintained some level of personal control and choice in their living situations experience better psychological outcomes and slower cognitive decline. How can you tell if loss of autonomy might affect your adjustment to nursing home care? Pay attention to how important personal routines and daily choices are to your sense of well-being and identity. You might consider whether you feel stressed or uncomfortable when others control your schedule. And you could also reflect on how much independence and self-determination contribute to your happiness and life satisfaction. These factors aren't just preferences. They're essential components of psychological health that become more important with age. The good news is, understanding this challenge allows you to make more informed decisions about timing and alternatives. Start by honestly assessing how much personal control matters to your quality of life, and gradually explore options like home care services, adult day programs, or assisted living facilities that might preserve more autonomy while still providing needed support. Throughout your decision-making process, prioritize maintaining as much personal choice and control as possible for as long as possible. The beautiful part is being informed allows you to advocate for your needs and preferences even within institutional settings, and you can make choices that protect your sense of self and independence. If you've ever felt anxious about losing control over your daily life and decisions, you know that preserving autonomy is essential for psychological well-being. Regret number 2: not anticipating the social isolation and loneliness. This one might surprise you because nursing homes are full of people, yet loneliness often increases rather than decreases. Consider Rose, an 85-year-old widow who moved to a nursing home expecting to find companionship and social connection with other residents her age. Rose looked forward to group activities, shared meals, and forming new friendships that would replace the social connections she'd lost when friends and family members moved away or passed on. Instead, Rose found that many residents were dealing with cognitive decline, depression, or health issues that made meaningful social connection difficult, and the structured environment often felt more isolating than her quiet home had ever been. What Rose learned changed everything. Social isolation in nursing homes is common and can be more profound than living alone at home, because meaningful relationships require shared interests and cognitive compatibility. Studies conducted at Stanford University found that proximity to other people doesn't automatically create social connection, and many nursing home residents report feeling lonelier than they did living independently. The research reveals that factors like cognitive decline, depression, physical limitations, and different backgrounds can make it difficult for residents to form meaningful relationships. Scientists discovered that the quality of social connections matters more than quantity, and structured group activities often don't replace the spontaneous, natural relationships that develop in community settings. What are the warning signs that social isolation might be a significant challenge in nursing home care? Watch for feeling energized by social connections and meaningful conversations with people who share your interests and cognitive level. You may rely on specific relationships with family, friends, or community members for emotional support and intellectual stimulation, and you could also find that superficial social interactions feel draining rather than fulfilling. These characteristics suggest that the social environment of a nursing home might not meet your emotional and intellectual needs. Here's the empowering truth: understanding social needs allows you to make better decisions about timing and care settings. Begin with honestly evaluating what types of social connections are most important to your emotional well-being, and slowly explore alternatives that might preserve meaningful relationships while providing needed support. During your regular activities, consider how much your current social connections contribute to your happiness and whether those could be maintained in different care settings. What's wonderful is being proactive about social needs often leads to creative solutions that preserve important relationships. Plus, you'll find that addressing social isolation concerns early can prevent depression and cognitive decline. Have you considered how important your current social connections are to your overall well-being and life satisfaction? Let me know in the comments. And if you're finding these insights helpful, make sure to subscribe, because we share practical advice for seniors that can make daily life easier and more enjoyable. Anyone who has experienced the difference between meaningful connection and mere proximity understands that social environment is crucial for mental and emotional health. But this is nothing compared to what comes next. Regret number 3, not realizing how quickly physical abilities would decline. This particular discovery is especially concerning because it creates a cycle that can become difficult to reverse. Picture this, Bobby, an 81-year-old former construction worker who was still relatively active and independent when he moved to a nursing home primarily for convenience and security rather than immediate physical need. Bobby could walk, dress himself, and manage most daily activities, but his family worried about safety and wanted him to have immediate help available if needed. Within 6 months, Bobby noticed significant decline in his strength, balance, and endurance that seemed to accelerate much faster than normal aging would predict. The truth is, nursing home environments often inadvertently promote physical decline through convenience and institutional policies that reduce opportunities for daily movement and independence. According to research from Johns Hopkins Medical Center, the use it or lose it principle becomes critically important in institutional settings where staff efficiency often means doing tasks for residents rather than encouraging independent activity. When daily physical challenges like cooking, cleaning, and navigating various environments are eliminated, Muscle mass, bone density, and cardiovascular fitness can decline rapidly. Researchers found that residents who moved to nursing homes while still relatively healthy often experienced accelerated physical decline compared to peers who remained in community settings with appropriate support services. How do you know if the nursing home environment might accelerate physical decline? Look out for currently managing most daily activities independently and feeling pride in maintaining your physical abilities. Some people rely on daily activities and movement for physical fitness rather than formal exercise programs, while others may be entering nursing home care primarily for convenience or family peace of mind, rather than immediate physical necessity. These factors indicate higher risk for rapid physical decline in an institutional environment. What's hopeful is recognizing this risk allows for preventive planning and advocacy. You can start today by prioritizing physical activity and independence as long as safely possible in your current living situation. And over time, develop strategies for maintaining activity levels even in institutional settings through advocacy and intentional choices. Within your normal routine, focus on activities that challenge your physical abilities appropriately to maintain strength and function. The rewarding aspect is maintaining physical abilities often supports cognitive function and overall well-being, and you'll experience greater confidence and independence when you actively preserve your physical capabilities. When you've worked hard to maintain your physical abilities and independence, you realize that protecting these capabilities should be a priority in any care decision. Yet, this pales in comparison to what follows. Regret number 4, losing connection to personal identity and life purpose. What I'm about to share will revolutionize how you think about the psychological aspects of major life transitions. Let me tell you about Donna, an 87-year-old former teacher who had spent her retirement years volunteering at the library, tending her garden, and maintaining correspondence with former students and colleagues. Donna's identity was deeply connected to her roles as an educator, mentor, and community member, and these activities gave her life meaning and structure. When Donna moved to a nursing home, she lost access to most of these identity-affirming activities and found herself struggling with questions of self-worth and purpose that she'd never experienced before. Here's the reality: nursing homes often fail to provide opportunities for residents to maintain the roles, activities, and relationships that define their sense of self and purpose. Evidence from Harvard Medical School reveals that identity and purpose are crucial for psychological health and cognitive function in older adults. When seniors lose connection to the activities, roles, and relationships that have defined them throughout their lives, they often experience what researchers call identity erosion that can lead to depression, anxiety, and accelerated cognitive decline. Scientists found that maintaining meaningful activities and social roles is as important for health as physical care. Yet institutional environments often focus primarily on safety and medical needs. What are the warning signs that loss of identity and purpose might be a significant challenge? Be aware of deriving significant satisfaction and self-worth from specific activities, roles, or relationships in your current life. Common experiences include feeling energized by helping others, creating things, or maintaining skills and knowledge that define who you are. These aspects of identity may indicate that nursing home life could feel empty or meaningless without intentional preservation of purposeful activities. The good news is, understanding identity needs allows for better planning and advocacy in any care setting. Start by identifying which activities, roles, and relationships are most essential to your sense of self and purpose, and gradually explore how these could be maintained or adapted in different care environments. Throughout your daily activities, pay attention to what gives your life meaning and brings you satisfaction beyond basic comfort and safety. The amazing thing is, preserving identity and purpose often improves all aspects of health and well-being, and you'll discover that advocating for meaningful activities can transform any living situation. People who have experienced loss of identity and purpose understand that meaning matters as much as comfort for psychological and even physical health. However, The most important part is still ahead. Regret number 5, not understanding the financial and emotional barriers to leaving. This one is especially critical because it affects every family member and can create feelings of being trapped. Consider Thomas, an 83-year-old grandfather who initially viewed his nursing home move as a temporary solution while he recovered from a minor health setback. Thomas and his family assumed he could easily return home once he regained his strength, but they hadn't anticipated how quickly the costs would add up or how the transition would affect his home finances and family dynamics. After 8 months, Thomas wanted to return home, but discovered that his house needed expensive maintenance. His savings had been significantly depleted, and his family had made assumptions about his long-term care needs that made leaving complicated. Here's what Thomas discovered: nursing home placement often becomes permanent, not because of medical necessity, but because of financial constraints and family expectations that develop over time. Research from the National Center for Health Statistics shows that the average cost of nursing home care can quickly deplete retirement savings, making it financially difficult to maintain a home while paying for institutional care. Additionally, families often make irreversible decisions about the senior's home belongings and living arrangements based on assumptions that the placement is permanent. Scientists found that the longer someone remains in nursing home care, the more barriers develop to returning to community living, even when the person's health would allow it. How can you tell if financial and emotional barriers might make nursing home placement more permanent than intended? Pay attention to whether your family views nursing home care as a temporary or permanent solution, and how this decision might affect your housing finances and relationships. You might consider whether your savings can sustain both nursing home costs and maintaining other options. And you could also evaluate whether your family is prepared to support a potential return to community living. These factors often determine whether nursing home care becomes a choice or a permanent situation. Here's the empowering truth: understanding potential barriers allows for better planning and clearer communication with family members. Begin with having honest conversations about intentions, expectations, and financial realities before making any major care decisions, and progressively develop backup plans that preserve options and prevent irreversible decisions made in crisis. During your regular family discussions, ensure everyone understands your preferences and the importance of maintaining flexibility in care arrangements. What's wonderful is clear communication and planning often prevent families from making assumptions that limit future choices. Plus, you'll find that being informed helps you maintain more control over your own care decisions. Have you considered how nursing home costs and family expectations might affect your ability to make future changes to your living situation? Share your thoughts below, and if you found this eye-opening, please subscribe and ring the notification bell. Your engagement helps us reach more seniors who need this information. Anyone who has felt trapped by circumstances beyond their control understands the importance of preserving options and maintaining clear communication about expectations. But this next discovery changes everything. Regret number 6, not exploring all alternatives before making the decision. Now, for the final regret. This one is particularly important because it reveals how many options exist that most families never fully investigate. Most people consider nursing home care as the primary or only solution for aging-related challenges. But what they don't realize is that numerous alternatives exist that can provide safety and support while preserving independence, identity, and quality of life in ways that institutional care cannot. Meet Sharon, an 89-year-old former nurse who felt pressured to move to a nursing home after a fall that concerned her family about her safety, living alone. Sharon and her children researched nursing homes extensively, but spent little time investigating alternatives like home health services, adult day programs, assistive technology, or home modifications that might address safety concerns while allowing her to remain in her familiar environment. Only after moving to the nursing home and experiencing the regrets we've discussed did Sharon learn about comprehensive alternatives that might have met her needs while preserving her independence. What Sharon learned changed everything, Comprehensive alternatives to nursing home care exist that can provide safety and support while preserving independence. But these options require research planning and sometimes initial investment. Clinical studies from the AARP Policy Institute show that most seniors prefer to age in place, and that with appropriate support services, many can safely remain in their homes longer than families initially believe possible. Alternatives include skilled home health care, adult day programs, home modifications for safety and accessibility, assistive technology, meal delivery services, transportation services, and care coordination programs. Researchers discovered that combining multiple support services often costs less than nursing home care, while providing better quality of life and health outcomes for many seniors. How can you tell if alternatives to nursing home care might better meet your needs and preferences? Be aware of wanting to maintain independence and remain in familiar surroundings if possible. Common experiences include feeling overwhelmed by the idea of institutional living, but concerned about safety and access to help when needed. These feelings often indicate that exploring comprehensive alternatives could reveal options that address concerns while preserving autonomy and quality of life. The good news is that numerous alternatives exist, and new options are constantly being developed to support aging in place. Start by researching home and community-based services in your area and consulting with geriatric care managers who specialize in developing comprehensive support plans, and gradually explore how combinations of services might address specific concerns while preserving independence. Within your normal planning process, prioritize investigating all options thoroughly before making irreversible decisions about living arrangements. The amazing thing is comprehensive alternatives often provide better outcomes at lower costs while preserving the autonomy and identity that matter most. And you'll discover that being informed about options helps you make decisions that truly align with your values and preferences. Anyone who has later discovered better alternatives to major decisions understands the importance of thorough research and exploration before making life-changing choices. This alone could help you discover options that provide safety and support while preserving everything that makes life meaningful and fulfilling. Final thoughts. Looking back, these 6 regrets reveal that nursing home decisions are far more complex than most families realize, and that understanding potential challenges allows for better planning and decision-making. These insights aren't just about avoiding nursing homes. They're about making informed choices that preserve dignity, independence, and quality of life, while addressing legitimate safety and care concerns. The good news is you now have knowledge about potential challenges and alternatives that can help you make decisions that truly align with your values and needs. You're not limited to choosing between complete independence and institutional care. The choices you make today about planning and exploring options can preserve your autonomy and life satisfaction while ensuring you get needed support. If you've recognized the importance of thorough planning and exploration before making major care decisions, know that being informed gives you power to shape your own aging experience. Tonight or today, begin researching alternatives to institutional care and having honest conversations with family members about preferences, expectations, and available options. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts about aging in place versus nursing home care and any experiences you've had with these decisions. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to having you join us again in the next video.